Hey guys, welcome back. Right, in the previous session we just did a basic scene to turn a light on, turn a light off of a scheduled time based on sunrise and sunset. And using those timer we can create anything for any time. What about when we want to create a sensor, say a sensor based light instead? We've got our outside light, and let's assume that the motion sensor that I've installed is an outdoor sensor instead, or the principles are going to be exactly the same. Like I said before, I'm going to just reuse these sensors for different things. So what we want to do is we're going to create a motion activated light, but that only operates after sunset and before sunrise. So yes, basically it's mimicking your traditional security light that you have outside. Unfortunately, it can't be written in one scene. So what we need to do, and this would apply to any time-based scenes on sunrise, sunset, is to basically create a variable. Variables are very powerful, and they basically tell the home center to be in a specific state form. So best way I can explain that is, at the moment this time is 16:58 today. It doesn't know whether it's daytime or nighttime apart from this little icon here. So what we can do, we can actually tell it that it's nighttime at the moment, and then any scene we create can go back and look at this variable, and it will always say night. And then of course after sunrise the variable changes to daytime, and then all the scenes can refer back to that again to say it's daytime. So this way, just a single variable can tell the system daytime or nighttime, and depending on what it is, it can perform different actions. We don't just have variables for day and night, we can have it for anything. You can have variables for all sorts. So as an example, we had that alarm system. So we create three different options for that. Option 1 is off, option 2 is say full, and option 3 is night. So again, as we change a variable, it changes what the scenes actually do. So let's go to the variables panel, and there we are, enter. These are going to be called predefined variables, as in they've got fixed names, fixed values. So let's start with, we'll call it day or night. Nice and simple. Day or night. And we'll start off, as it's currently nighttime, we'll just start it off as night. And the value number 2 is day. If we wanted to have another option, we just click add another plus sign to add another parameter. And you can carry on adding as many parameters as you need. But in this case, we only need 2, a simple day and a simple night. Click save. So now we've got our variable. We can either drop down list and change it manually, just like we're doing now, but we don't want to keep doing that. We want to automate things. And how do we automate it? You guessed it, with a scene. So what we're going to do is now create another 2 scenes. First scene is for nighttime, and the other scene daytime. Simple as that. And again, same principle. This time we're using same as before, timer based, as it is time, days of the week, every single day. And if you think back, we did have an option for sunrise and sunset, and that's all we're going to do. So at sunrise, then change, but this time we're altering a variable. So we go to variables, day or night, and we're going to set it to daytime. Daytime. So at sunrise it becomes day. Oh, I saved it without putting a name in, so we just put daytime scenes, and again, do not allow home center. That's already ticked, which is okay. Now we need to create another one for nighttime. So let's quickly do that. So one for the days of the week, and this time it's sunset, and then make it nighttime. Perfect. Oh, I've done it again. That's just nighttime. Put it back into scenes and do not allow. Saved again. So now here we are, daytime, nighttime. So they're all running now nicely. So we know it's nighttime and the system is set to nighttime. So at sunrise it'll auto switch to daytime, the variable, and back again to nighttime, and it'll keep on doing that now until we change it. So now that we've told the system when it's daytime and nighttime, now we can go and create our motion activated light at nighttime. So for that we add a scene. Again, open graphics blocks, and this time we need to add again this, no timers but a device. And first device is ground floor, no, it's under systems, and like I said, you would find where you want whichever sensor you want. So in this I'm reusing sensors. So if the front sensor is breached, I might as well go through these options for you now. These are various different options available on each motion sensor, and it doesn't matter what motion sensor it is, whether it's one of those outdoor sensors, indoor sensors, it doesn't matter. They've all got the similar options. Armed is when the sensors become armed. You can do an action just by arming the sensor, i.e. or disarming the sensor. You can do an action. And then breached. Breached means if you've walked in front of the sensor and it's detected you. So again, it can be breached, so it doesn't matter whether it's armed or disarmed, but as long as it's breached. Likewise, safe is when the sensor becomes safe after an activity has been detected. It then goes back to its normal resting state. Again, safe on its own means doesn't matter whether it's armed or disarmed. And then of course you've got these two options: breached and armed, breached and disarmed, or safe and armed, safe and disarmed. And then of course you've got the tampers, where the tamper has been, somebody's been tampering with the sensor or not. In our case, we're just going to leave it as breached because we're never going to arm. It's an outdoor sensor. Well, assuming it's an outdoor sensor for your light, we're never going to arm it. So just only it's breached, and that's it. But now we also wanted to check if it's nighttime, so we can go to click add again in this one, commands and add for and then the variables day or night, and it's already preset because that's what it was. But so whenever the front sensor is breached and the day or night variable is at night, that's exactly the two conditions we need for it to do something. So we change that to then, and what do? We want to turn the light on. So let's go and turn the outside light on. So we have it turn on straight instantly. That 0 seconds mean to turn it on instantly. Now we then want to turn the light off, and the good news is we can actually do it all in one scene on this particular one. You then click on add commands and because this is the next action we want it to take, and devices, ground, outside light off, but we want to turn it off after 30 seconds, so we want that little bit of a time delay. For that, that's where this red box comes in. In there you add 30. So what that means is the outside light will turn on instantly, i.e. no time delay, and the outside light will then turn off after 30 seconds. So we can incorporate all that into one scene. So that's how you write that scene for the particular outdoor light, including the fact that it's going to be nighttime only. So this one will work completely as your security light, as you would buy. One bit to note here, because we've created effectively two triggers here, one an actual sensor trigger and two a variable trigger, we don't want this scene to run when it changes from night to day and day to night. So we just uncheck that box to make sure that this scene only runs whenever the front sensor detects anything, otherwise it doesn't run. Okay, so that's just to keep in mind these what's called triggering devices. There may be, as you start building more and more scenes, you don't want every little thing to keep triggering it. You only want specific things to trigger, and that's where you select it from. So, and then name it, and we're going to call this security light, or whatever you want to call it yourselves, if I can spell. And we'll put it into the scenes again, these two boxes. Now here, maximum running instances, this is important bit. This one I'm going to set to 10, as just in case. What happens is, when it was on 2, it'll run twice, it'll run 1, start timer, then if somebody walks in again, it'll run it again, start the timer, but if somebody walks again, it won't do anything, it'll just say too many instances, and it'll wait until one of the other two has finished before it will do anything. So this way, by turning it to 10, it means it can be activated up to 10 times before it gives you that error message. So by keeping it 10 is more than enough for people walking in and out, and once the 30 seconds are up, one of the instances always goes down, so it'll always be safe to run. Click on save. Now that is completely saved. Click on scenes again, and look at this at the bottom. Running instances is 0, as there's no motion detected. Now let's demo it for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open another page, and then I'm going to separate the window. Okay, and I'm going to bring up both screens together. That's 1 and 2. There we are. So there's the outside light, there's the security light, there's no instances running. If I just bring this up, if I can, let's just go on to devices. There. So here's a front sensor, here's the outside light, here's a security light with nothing running. Now we're going to activate the sensor. There you are. Straight away you saw scene triggered, running instances 1. Now you can see that the timer has started to count down. Here, a few seconds ago, it was activated, and as you can see, the outside light is now on. If we give it the 30 seconds, this should go back down to 0, and then this will switch off. There you are. Light switched off, running instances has become 0. So that's our scene completely working in just all in one condition. Now this is just assuming we just walked in once, but one thing to note, if I went in front of the sensor again, the security light would send running instances 2 and then 3, etc, etc, but this light would automatically turn off all the time after the initial 30 seconds, as that's what the timer is. If you wanted to make it where the timer resets itself after each individual motion, then you're looking at some complex coding, which I can't cover in these, but there are some guys on the forum who've actually written a code for that, and all the information's on there, but it is quite complex, and that's no way it can be covered in a session like this. That's best for the forums. So just to show you, so activate, scene triggered, running once, and just wait for the sensor to be prepared. It's got a blind time, this particular sensor, so I've got to wait, and then activate it again. And now look, running instances 2. So that effectively sent another on signal, even though it's already on. So to us, we notice no difference. The initial 30 seconds, initial 30 seconds is over, and look at that, it's turned off. That is still running because the second timer is still running. So if I do this again, it's turned the light back on because the sensor was detected again, and we've gone back onto running instances 2. And there you are. The second timer switched off, the 30 seconds was up, and that's why the lights come off, even though it might have only been on for a few seconds. So that's the only thing you've got to bear in mind on scenes like this. Similarly to the way the actual security light works as well. They don't do extra runnings or things like that, so that's the only difference between having this type of security lighting and having a traditional security light. There are advantages to this, and that we can actually link it to other things. So if we had a video camera, the CCTV cameras linked in, we can have photos taken and emailed to us. You can have an alert sent to your phone. So there are some good advantages of having this type of Z-Wave type security lights, and it is each whatever they want. Another option is if your property, you can have multiple sensors around the property, say one at the front, one at the back, one at the side, and have 3 lights, front, back and side, and then you can create different modes. So one security sensor is activated, can turn on multiple lights, or just the 1 light or 2 lights. So that's where options become available, and that can all be coded in with block scenes, etc. Right, so that's the an introduction to variables, the introduction to a bit of security lighting and twin triggers. So that's it for now. What we'll do is we'll look at alarm code on the next session.